Can you hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. Hi, Lynn.
Yep. You're already recording?
Well, no, I didn't press record, but and it's working. I won today. I won just with that. I feel like a winner. I am so excited. Judy and I, as you know, like to have a guest speaker on our call once a month. And this month we get to have Dr. Sean McKee. And I remember meeting Sean years ago, like on one of the first incentive trips. Do you remember that, Sean? We were on a cruise. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. I think I met you before that, but that's when we became connected.
Yeah, that Caribbean cruise. That was awesome.
Right. And so since then, you know, it's hard when you get to events to see each other, but every once in a while we love to reconnect. And a year ago or so, she came to Orange Theory with me at an ungodly hour of 6 a.m. in California, which is a workout we did together. And I was in awe because, you know, I'm just doing my thing and I look over and she's at like running at 12 miles an hour. Like you were going super fast in my eyes. I'm like, huh. And then I read her bio. So I'm just going to reread a part of this and then I'm going to let her take it away. But if you were able to skim through this a little bit, you'll just see that she's just a phenomenal lady in general. She's a board certified neuroradiologist. Did I do that right? Yes? No? Kind of? Okay. President and medical director of Coastal Imaging Associates, former chief of neuroradiology at USAF, and there's a bunch. Former chief resident. She's a two-time 140.6 mile Ironman triathlete and ultra marathoner, which is something I've never even thought of. And not only that, but she's a wife and a mom to 2 boys who are in college, if I remember right, and so much more. So she's an amazing leader to her team. Her team in this last year or two, probably 2 years, has just she's always been very consistent, but then fireworks started going off. Because if I remember right, you recontacted a friend from a long time ago. And you kept recontacting her, and then she was one of the ones that kind of just started to explode.
Yeah, it's actually a crazy story because she reached out to me, believe it or not. And it was because of the physique challenge that we had a couple of years ago. I had posted a few of these amazing success stories from the previous year's challenge, and she was approaching her 50th birthday, and she reached out to me and she said, "What are you doing? Because I think I might need to, have a little health check, health improvement." So I was blessed because, and thank goodness I posted. And that's just to segue into a little bit of training. We always have to remember people are watching us, and we have got to continually and be consistent with our posting of things of value that people are looking for, and who wouldn't want to have a better physique. So I don't want to get started, on that track, but that's how she met me. She reached out to me because of a post that I had made.
Was that
Debbie Zito? Yeah.
I thought Debbie, and now she's a Pro 7?
Yes, and she has a Pro 7 underneath her. So Abby, yeah, it's crazy. One person, and that's a lesson for, me to keep reminding myself and everyone to remember that, we're all really one person away from a radically different business,
Right. I love that. So I'm going to let you take it away. Go whatever direction you want. We want to hear your heart, your story, and anything that you feel our teams would benefit from hearing. So thanks so much for taking time out of your busy life to be with us tonight. We appreciate it.
Oh my goodness. I'm honored to be asked, and I'm delighted to share. So, real quick, I'll do my 1-minute story. I was not approached about LifeVantage from a friend or anybody offering a business opportunity or even a health opportunity. I kind of stumbled into it because I'd gone to see my doctor because I was tired, which, by the way, is the most common reason people go to see their doctors, is their lack of energy. And I just didn't have the energy. I was 44 and just felt like I was 64, it seems like. And so my husband suggested I go to see my not my anti-aging. He suggested an anti-aging doctor that he sends his patients to. And I was a little bit, kind of bent out of shape that he would suggest that I go see an aging doctor. And I was only like 44, but she's one of the doctors that's real progressive. She's actually a DO, and she believes in, giving hormones to women. And so she was right up the alley that I needed her to be up, which is, optimizing whatever was going wrong with my 44-year-old body at the time. And so she put me on a gazillion supplements. I took them all, and I hated it because it was handfuls of pills, and I didn't really feel a whole lot better. But when I went back for my 6-month follow-up, that's when she told me about this Protandim Nerve 2. And I was like, I'm taking that for the rest of my life. And because it was $6.99 to ship one bottle, and it was $14.99 to ship 12 bottles plus a bottle of True Science, and I knew I was going to take it forever, and I knew I would probably put the stuff on my skin, I got the big box to save $6.99 a month. And that made me a distributor. So I was like a completely accidentally a distributor. But when I saw what it did for my family, and I felt what it did for me, and I knew what it did from a, oxidative stress standpoint as a physician and an athlete, I knew that was a huge deal. I also knew that if I hadn't heard about it, being in my line of work and owning a health and wellness facility, I owned at the time 140,000 square foot health and wellness facility with about 30 other doctors. And I hadn't heard about it, I was like, holy smokes. Number one, people need to know about it. Number two, wow, what a great opportunity it is to be one of the first people to find out about something like this. When I was running Ironman triathlons, my husband and I used to marvel at the fact that Dr. Gill, who's an ophthalmologist in Florida and an amazing guy, he kind of founded or was somehow involved with the development of the Ironman watch. Have you guys heard of the Ironman watch? It's a watch from Timex, and it's a chronograph, and it has laps and splits. He gets what we heard at the time was he gets $1 for every Ironman watch that's sold in the world. And we were like, oh my gosh, can you imagine? All the Ironman, because, at the time we're like Ironman triathletes. So everybody we know has an Ironman watch. So we're like, wow, wouldn't it be great to be in a position where you could have $1 of everything that's sold like that, And then, I find out that I'm really pretty early in this, although I was kind of aggravated that it was 2012 when I found out about it, and the company started in 2009, and the ABC aired in 2005. So I was like, oh my gosh, people knew about this 7 years before I did. I was like, man, shoot. But anyway, so I didn't know anything about network marketing. I didn't know anything about networking. I'm a radiologist. We work in a dark room, and we talk to a recorder, and used to talk. There was a human being on the other end of that recorder. When I would talk, I would sometimes tell a joke, and I knew at some point, an hour or two later, some lady would be giggling, while she's typing up my report because I'd said something funny. But now it's voice recognition. So we are like not networkers, radiologists. Okay. Most physicians probably are like me, spend 20 something years in school with your nose to the grindstone, not really social butterflies. We're, trying to digest a lot of information. So all of this networking, network marketing, social marketing, all this social entrepreneurship was foreign to me. And so what I decided to do was let everybody know what I knew. And that's all the science and all the remarkableness of the science. And is remarkableness a word? I guess it is. So I would tell everyone everything, and that didn't really work. So for 3 or 4 years, I just did what I did, but I did it with this company and these products, and it wasn't very effective. Although, being a person of influence, if you're like a prominent business person or a doctor, somebody that has some, credence to what you do, you will get some success initially. And I did bulldoze my way into Pro 5 the first month or two. But it wasn't a real Pro 5. It was just all me. And of course, nobody really took the time to learn about the products because I basically didn't allow them to learn for themselves. I just told them everything, and past the point where their eyes glazed over, right? Talking too much, but they bought the product and then they never continued because they never really knew what they had. So I want to stress that what I did wrong to you all so that you don't do it wrong, right? You don't want to do what I did, and you don't want to be the message. You hear this all the time. Don't be the message, be the messenger. And that is so important for you and me not to tell our friends about the product. And that sounds so counterintuitive. You don't want to tell your friends about the product. What do you mean you don't want to tell your friends about the product? That's what we do. No, you want to find out if someone's open to learning about the product, and you want to see if they're interested in learning about it. And then if they are, and only if they are, then you share a tool that tells about the product. Okay. So the tool tells about the product, not you. Okay. That's one thing that changed my business. So back to Debbie Zito, I didn't really talk about the weight management system. I didn't talk about, the probiotics and the fat burn and the 900% of free fatty acids that are, released through lipolysis. And I didn't talk about the protein. I just showed the pictures, right? I let the tool do the talking. Those before and after photos, those were my tool that I shared on Facebook. I excitedly said, oh my gosh, this is an amazing, transformation. Who else wants to get healthier? Or something very generic like that. And that's how my friend reached out to me, and that changed my business. So the more we rely on simple tools to share, and the more we remember that we don't want to share these tools with anyone who's not open. We only want to share the tools with people who are open. And how do you find out who's open, right? That's a wonderful question. Well, the way you find out who's open is by asking the question, are you open? Are you open to learning about something that's helped hundreds of people that I know with XYZ, whatever it is, better mood, better sleep, better focus, better energy. And on that topic, I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but what I just said, helping with, and I said energy, focus, sleep, mood, clarity, all those things are structure and function claims, right? They're all things we all want more of. We want better sleep. We want a better mood. We want more focus. We want more energy, clarity, all of that. That is something that we can talk about compliantly, and we can get people's attention. And when you're talking to people, they're going to tell you what their quote unquote pain is. As Carrie Dickey always says, make a friend and find their pain. Somebody tells you about their pain, instead of saying, oh my goodness, you need to hear about this. This will help your blah, blah, blah. You're doing the talking and you're making it about you. Instead of that, just say, oh my goodness, I hear what you're saying. When you were talking about your pain with time, pressure, lack of focus or whatever, I'm just curious, are you open to a natural solution that's helping lots of people? When they say yes, you all have a customer group, right, Tammy? Sorry, you're probably trying to unmute yourself. You do, okay. I can't read your name. What's your name? Bryant. What's your first name? I can't read it. Tirza?
It's Tears.
Okay. Thank you, Tirza. Yes, Tirza is saying yes, you have a customer group. So thank you. When you find out that, yeah, I'm open to learning about a natural solution, right? Well, you say, well, listen, great. I think you'll love what you learn. I can invite you to a private educational group where you can look around and ask questions and learn at your own pace. Would you like me to? Who in the world is going to say no to that? They've already said they have a pain. They've answered yes, they're open to learning about a natural solution that you just told them about. And then you're offering to invite them to a private community where they can look around, ask questions, and learn at their own pace. That's crucial. You're not inviting them to a place where you can push and sell and promote and harass and harangue. You're inviting them to learn on their own time. People say yes to that. And that right there was the secret to my success. Not my doing that, but my implementing that and reproducing it and duplicating it within my team. I taught everyone to do that, to follow the simple 1, 2, 3 system. Find out if they're open, offer to invite them to a group, and ask if they would like you to. We have to get their buy-in. We don't just invite them to the group and say, hey, I invited you. I mean, some people would be okay with that, but some people get mad about that. So never do that. So that's really, really crucial. Number one, we're only talking to the interested and the willing. I think I did a lot of this in the beginning. I cast, as the Bible says, cast not your pearls before swine or something like that. I was doing a lot of that. And don't do that, because your time and your energy are precious. They're the only good things you truly have. And you don't want to be spending your time and energy talking to people who are not open and who don't want to hear what you have to say, and who by not through intention, they're not trying to make you feel bad, but if you spend all your time talking to people who are not open and who are not interested, you may feel bad. You may feel like, gosh, what I have isn't worthy. No, it is worthy. We're just looking for the people who are looking. We're looking for the lookers. And so one, you want to ask people if they're open to learning about a solution when you're talking to them about whatever it is that that's important to them. And two, a little touch on attraction marketing. Apparently I attracted Debbie Zito to ask me. So we do need to spend some time. So some of our time we spend prospecting, that is asking people if they're open whenever we're talking to them. What it can be from a previous thing that they said. We can say, oh, I remember the other day you mentioned that you hate having to work 2 jobs, or that, oh my goodness, at the end of the day, you're so tired and your feet hurt, or whatever. Then you can ask the question from a previous conversation. You can ask the question from a current conversation, or you can simply reach out to people and say, hey, just, thinking about you, how are things going? And then see how the conversation goes. And if it doesn't come up, there's another way to do it. You can actively prospect. You can talk to people and say, hey, I'm reaching out to you because, I, and compliment them, have always admired whatever it is about you. I'm just wondering, are you open to looking at a business opportunity? Or are you open to looking at something for your better, to better your health? I always lead with the product because I'm a medical person. But some people lead with the business, and that's how I would recommend leading with the business. I was listening to a video by Kathleen Troust, who's Pro 7, and she was approached by her realtor who left. I guess they were having a real estate transaction. He was walking out the door, and he said, "Hey, I've got a business opportunity I want to run by you." That's all. That was his invitation, and now she's a Pro 7. Okay, so don't be afraid of the direct thing, although it does have to kind of resonate with you. He was a realtor. She's I think physical therapist. He knew she owned her own business, so it kind of resonated. So don't do anything that is completely off for you, but do try to get slightly comfortable being slightly uncomfortable, even though it isn't, you don't want to go completely against your grain, but you might want to say, like, I'm a private practice physician. I could potentially approach people I went to medical school with. Hey, are you open to looking at, additional sources of income besides medicine? I haven't done that yet because I'm scared, right? We're all scared. But that's a way you can approach someone. But most of my business was built on making a friend and finding their pain and asking if they were open, and training that and duplicating that throughout my team. And then once you add them to your customer group, you have a welcome post, I'm sure. You tag the new person in the welcome post, right? Well, how many of you have a schedule that you follow of tagging the next 5 days? You do? All right. Well, really good. All right. I want to ask, and I can't read your name, Tirza. I want to ask you to unmute yourself, and I want you to tell your team, tell everybody what you do and what's the schedule, because that's really key. Thank you.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, I tag. I have scheduled posts that I post, and every post has a name. So I have like Superfood Saturday, Soulful Sunday, Thursday Fun Fact Day, and we have different information that we're adding to our group, not just only about biohacking and LifeVantage and the products and how they can help people, but also letting people know, as I'm a nutritionist and a chef, I also share recipes and I sell nutritional information. But I've noticed if you share too much wordy things, people don't really read them. But if you share a 2-minute video about something that's epic that you've discovered this morning, and you share that with them in a grateful way with a smile on the face, you'll get 45 likes and you'll get maybe 60 to 70 views.
Oh, I love that. That's a great point, Tirza. You may not know people are watching you and liking your post, because like, for example, on your wall or even in the group, the likes and the comments may be even few, right? But you've got a video and you can see how many people viewed it. So that's another point. People are watching and looking at what you're doing. They may not be engaging. They may just kind of be flies on the wall waiting to see. So that's why it's so important we remain consistent. And I love that you have a post that, a regular schedule of posts. But what I try to tell my team is, okay, the first day you add them and you tag them in the pin and ask them. The second day you tag them in maybe a video, right? 24 more hours later, you tag them in a little wordy post. And then the next 24 hours, you tag them in another video. And the next 24 hours, you tag them in another wordy post. So it's video, it's words, video, words, video, words, video. And meantime, you're messaging them, hey, I tagged you in the thing, make sure you watch the news report. Let me know what questions you have. Here's my website. You've got to send your website. Okay. So in doing so, remember it takes 7 touches before somebody makes a decision. That's your 7 touches. You've asked if they're open. You've put them in the group. You've tagged them. You've sent them a message saying you put them in the group and you tagged them and here's your website. Then you tag them and you tag them and you tag them and you tag them. And then you can send them a message. Hey, did you get a chance to watch that video? Wasn't it amazing? Okay. This is how you do it. You have to continually follow up with people. But too often we add people to the group, we tag them in the pinned announcement, and we forget. Got to write their names down. We got to follow a schedule of tagging. And that, I got away from that. I got away from telling my team or reminding my team that you need to do the follow-up. And we showed a little decrease because we weren't actively engaging the people that we were adding. When you do actively engage the people and you interact with them, it makes a huge difference because now it's about them. They're seeing, oh my goodness, they're thinking of me because they realize I talked about XYZ and this, and obviously we have to be compliant. We can't be, saying, oh, you have psoriasis, here's a psoriasis post. But you could just say, I know that your skin is a big concern of yours. Here's a post about how these products really help have, people have healthy skin. Do make it a purposeful tag, but also if you really don't know what their situation is, there are plenty of tags, top 10 reasons, Dr. Maniscalco, Dr. Reed, there's all these posts that we can tag people in where they can actually learn. But do vary it up, video and text. And like Tirza said, it's not, people don't want to read a whole ton and they don't want to watch a 20-minute video. So we've got to keep it interesting. So basically that's, I don't know how long we've been on. I can't tell. But that's the primary thing is, keeping it consistent, meeting people where they are, asking questions, don't give them, don't be the message, make sure you use tools and do that 7-touch follow-up. So I'm happy to take any questions if anyone has any.
I love it. Very simple and concise and to the point. I can see why your team is exploding. So in your customer group, your whole team is immersed into that. And I know I think I'm part of your customer group actually, or maybe not, but it's one of your pages. I've seen some of the stuff you post.
Well, we had to move our customer group because the first one was not compliant. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So you're in the process of doing all that. That was my question.
Yeah, it's a big pain, and that's, it's so hard to be compliant when we have these amazing products that make huge changes with people that, I always say that people with chronic issues also have a healthy component. We're just affecting the healthy component. We're increasing the healthy component and crowding out that unhealthy component, but whatever, we can't make anything to do with the disease. So yeah, got to stay compliant.
Right.
I got a question.
Great.
As a doctor, I'm probably going to have a couple of doctors that will listen to this recording. And I was actually trying to get one on last week when you were supposed to be on. But as a doctor, 2 doctors, why should they look at this and look at it really hard?
Doctors.
What was that, Sean?
I was just saying we were visiting doctors, but John broke up.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know. Sorry. I wasn't sure. I don't know why I did, but just as a doctor to doctor, which would relate to other people too, why should they look at this intently?
Well, I mean, simply it's
Oh, you're frozen, Sean.
it's the only proven.
Sean, you're frozen. Am I frozen?
And 31 peer-reviewed published studies. I only see 27 on PubMed, but apparently there's 4 more somewhere. Institutes on health. Go ahead.
Sean, could you start over? You were frozen for a minute. So we just heard you say 31 studies.
Oh, sorry.
Everything before that we didn't hear.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so because it is the only thing proven to reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days, and by up to 70% at 120 days, and to increase glutathione by 300% at 90 days. That's intracellular glutathione in a peer-reviewed published study. The National Institute on Aging has shown that it increases healthy longevity in a mammal. You know, there's lots of reasons you should look at it, because, you know, it's the only branded natural product that has up to 31 peer-reviewed published studies. That's a big deal. Oxidative stress is linked to thousands of things that you don't want to have, and we've proved that we reduce it by almost half. Why wouldn't you want to look at it?
Good.
Thank you.
Good
You're welcome.
question, John. Good question. All right. Who else has a question for Sean? Whether it's a business or medical, doctor related question, anything goes. We have her for a few more minutes, so ask away. I mean,
I
nothing.
have a question.
Yes. Go ahead, Diane.
I was wondering about the videos and everything that's out there right now on Facebook, or no, on YouTube, and there's lots of claims. And are those, I'm just trying to figure out how to weave something into people that I talk with.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of non-compliant videos out there for sure, for sure. And you know, if you want to share them, you can. You know, but you have to know that it's non-compliant video.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I try not to. I basically try to focus on the fact that this is improving the human condition. It's improving, you know, an underlying cause of malfunction, right? Function and structure. We can talk about that all day. And focus on that, you know, and that when people take it, they feel great. They focus, you know, what is it? Dr. Eric Markshan says, I feel happy, I feel healthy, I feel fantastic, right?
Yeah.
Why? That's great. Who wouldn't want to feel happy, healthy, and fantastic? Or terrific, he said terrific.
Terrific. Yeah.
Yeah, terrific. Okay, thank you very much.
Eric used to work with Southwestern, which is a publishing company, and I work for the same company. So that's definitely
Wow.
a motto from years ago. We used to run house
That's awesome.
saying, I feel happy, I feel healthy, I feel terrific. Ask my kids, they get so annoyed. Okay, so
I mean,
on that same
Yeah,
note,
no, I love that.
what video are you showing? Like what video are you showing, or what website are you sending people to watch the video?
Biohackandactivate.com is a great website, and that's the one I really recommend now, because it does show the ABC, and then it shows the 3 theories of aging, and then there's a video about healthcare practitioners and talking about it. And I'm actually on that. I did Shauna Mucklow organized that, and there's Kelly and Arthur Lupshaw, myself, I can't remember, Debbie Zito. There's a bunch of doctors on there, and then we just talk about, you know, NRF2. It's mostly a NRF2 centered video, but the biohackandactivate.com does have the 3 theories of aging after the ABC primetime. So I think that's a really good video. Dr. Reed, you know, I haven't heard anything about whether or not that's compliant. It's probably not compliant, but I haven't heard that it's not compliant. So I like to share those.
Okay.
I did hear that Biohack and Activate is not compliant because
Really?
it has the animal with the horses. I just got an email.
Oh, Lordy. So I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it will not be active in a few more days to come because of the horses and the animal. The horses in the video.
So maybe that can be taken down.
Fine.
And,
Well, can't they take out just the animal?
There,
That's
you know,
an
lots of places,
animal.
you know, and but I think if the animal has a disease, like if they're talking about a disease in an animal, that's not
That's
compliant.
the thing that
You
they're
know,
doing. They're doing
you
that
just
in the
show
video.
If you show it, okay, I actually have not looked at the animal videos on that site. I've only looked at the front page and the doctor thing. But if you have an animal video and you show an animal before and after, and the animal moves better, you're not saying anything. You're just saying this is the animal before, this is the animal after. There's no disease mentioned, right? But if you have some text overlying it that says, you know, she had an ACL tear and, you know, all that, that's not compliant, right? So we can show
Sean,
before and after. Just can't
Isn't it
label.
compliant though if we say, you know, here he had the ligament tear and then we started activating NRF2, no mention of Protandim whatsoever. Just say we started activating the cells. That is compliant, is it not?
Well, I don't know for a fact,
Okay.
but I do know I do know if that statement is in a group that's specifically related, you know, specifically for the purpose of like for example, our customer groups, you know, and that wouldn't be compliant, because the whole purpose of the group is to expose people to our products, LifeVantage. And then we throw that video in there. So that's where it makes, so free speech is one thing, but free speech and commerce together are not the same. You know, they're not, it's not okay. Free speech ends where commerce begins.
Okay, so basically making those type videos on YouTube that not associated with the team or associated with Biohack and Activator, and that's what people do is their business, right?
Yeah, I think so. If you just had a on your wall or whatever, and you just say, "Hey, this is amazing," potentially, but I'm not compliant, so don't quote me on that. But if you're just talking about information, be healthy, activate your cells, you can, because a torn ACL is structure and function technically, but it is also a disease, right? It's a torn ACL. That's a diagnosis, but it's literally the structure of your ACL is not intact. So it is kind of bridging the gap between, disease and structure and function. So it's a slippery slope. It's tough. We just have to navigate it as gracefully as we possibly can. That's all I can say.
So Sean, we have, because our products are so great, it's very easy to go into the minutia of medical stuff, right? I know. Yeah. I'm not that person. Many of you know that, because I don't know the stuff. But even though you know the stuff, now that you know your business, you're not, I'm guessing you're not doing that anymore. It seems like you're keeping things very simple, and you're letting technology tell the story, right?
Yep. Yeah, I'm trying as hard as I can to be compliant,
So are you giving people studies to read or anything like that?
I mean, I would refer them to PubMed. I'll say, here are the 27, here's the link to the 20, to the studies on PubMed, which I have a shortcut to, pubmed.gov/, whatever, search term equals Protandim. We've got that. If somebody asks about so-and-so has heart disease, can I use Protandim? I'll send them the 5 studies on Protandim. I won't say anything. I'll just say, it's been studied extensively in cardiac conditions or in, in the heart, heart tissues or whatever. But yeah, I just try to, not make any medical claims. It's really, really important that we protect the company and not do that.
And I love how you're keeping things simple. So let's just recap real quick, unless there's another quick question, because we're going to run out of time in 3 minutes. So let's recap real quick. Your 7 touches.
Dasha,
did you have a
can
question?
Can you just go over real quickly the one things that we can say? You talk about mood, focus, and better sleep. What was the other 2?
Mood, sleep, focus, clarity, energy, recovery from exercise, endurance, those kind of things.
Do more, feel better.
Yeah, flip the switch.
Flip the switch. Do more, feel better. It's right on the front page, you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. So I love the idea of really engaging in that 7 touches through the customer page, or however you want to do the touches. If you have somebody who's not joining the customer page, you could use this for even just sending them a message, right? Or reaching out to them with an email or a text. Text works great. I love the touches. I think that's good. And also, I took so many notes, I can't even read my own writing. Just how
asking questions.
Yeah, asking questions. I invite you to learn more.
I think we can use one thing in our advantage too.
Yeah,
I'm just going to call somebody and let them know. I just heard from Dr. Sean, and she was on our call, and something amazing happened. We learned so much, but one thing I learned is it's all hard for us, all of us, not to make claims because of such a great science. I just want to make sure that I give you the information so you can read about it, and that's a touch too. And you can take it from a call that you just had and call somebody and tell them excitedly about something. So every time you talk, use that to have a touch.
Let's write down 2 names right now that you can call in the next 12 hours, 24 hours.
Well, yeah, right now. I mean, or tomorrow morning. Yeah, don't wait 24 hours.
Well, it's only 8:30, so you can call right now. 2 people. Who are 2 people you can call right now to say, I just got off a call with Dr. Sean McGee, and you won't believe what she said. and then find something that you can share, right? It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
words right from her mouth.
I love that. I just found out. I just learned. I just got back from. I just got off. I just is a great way to follow up with someone. It's
Right.
timely. It's timely, and you're including them. You're sharing something timely and important with them, and they'll be like thankful that you did.
Love it. Anybody else have a quick question for Sean? Yes, Norma, let me unmute you real quick. We have less than a minute, if it's going to work. Oh, it's not letting me unmute you, Norma. I don't know why.
Okay, there I am.
Go ahead.
Dr. McGee, how are the customer pages going to be able to be there, or do they have to clean up each testimony on that?
You have to clean up.
You can
all-
either clean up the group that you have, or you can start a new group.
Yeah.
Your
So
choice.
that's what we're working on now. But hey, thanks, Sean. I appreciate you. You're the best. Let's give her a round of applause. Silent round of applause.
Yay! Thank you guys for
Thanks for
being
being on.
here.
You guys, let's make something happen, okay? Take care. Have a great
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Tim. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.